Whenever you hear about the Swiss luxury design Rolex, what comes to mind? Only few people are aware that a world-renowned luxury brand was founded by an orphan, Hans Wilsdorf. Against all odds, the young lad went ahead to invent the world's first waterproof self-winding wristwatch with a perpetual rotor, a watch that has become a benchmark in terms of quality and prestige. How did Wilsdorf achieve this? And what is the current status of the company today? Stay tuned and ensure to watch till the end to find out. Just like every other entrepreneur that made impact in history, Wilsdorf was resilient and full of hope for the future. At the age of 12, the orphan boy was sent to a boarding school in Coburg, almost 40 kilometers from his hometown, Kulmbach. From here, he learned to be self-reliant, a trait that later proved to be essential for his success. As a good language student, he had the boldness to venture into the French-speaking city of Geneva in Switzerland after school. At Geneva, he gained experience on the international pearl exporting business while working as an apprentice. Few years later, he began his watchmaking career at the age of 19 in the city of La Chaux-de-Fonds. Part of his job at Kunokorten included winding hundreds of pocket watches daily. Wilsdorf's passion for watches grew while working here. 3 years later, he moved to London to start out his own watchmaking company with his brother-in-law Alfred Davis. The company was named Wilsdorf and Davis in 1905. Wilsdorf had a strong passion for producing high-quality watches at affordable prices. Using the experience he gained at Geneva, he contracted a small Swiss watchmaker named Hermann Eigler to produce watches for him. At this time, the use of wristwatches was a relatively new concept, and Wilsdorf received a lot of criticism for it. However, he remained resolute and continued to manufacture them. Wilsdorf's determination later paid off, as the popularity of wristwatches grew rapidly, and by the early 20th century, they had become more common than pocket watches. Wilsdorf registered the trademark Rolex in Switzerland. The name came to him one morning while he was sitting on the upper level of a horse-powered double-decker, when he attempted to come up with a name by combining letters of the alphabet in every possible way, and as he put it, a good genie whispered in my ear, Rolex. The name itself means absolutely nothing and was simply selected because it's so catchy. Wilsdorf's commitment to producing high-quality watches at affordable prices was reflected in the innovative designs and materials used in Rolex watches, such as waterproof cases, automatic movements, and high-precision chronometers. These features helped establish Rolex as a symbol of luxury and reliability. Today, wristwatches are ubiquitous, and Rolex remains a leader in the luxury watch industry. When World War I broke out, the German-born entrepreneur realized the potential of wristwatches for soldiers and started producing them en masse. As the company grew, Wilsdorf moved its headquarters to Switzerland in 1919, where it remains today. The move was prompted by the introduction of a 33% customs duty by the British government in 1915, which made it difficult for the company to export its watches. Switzerland, on the other hand, was known for its precision watchmaking and had a favorable business environment for luxury watchmakers. Rolex's breakthrough came after the creation of the Rolex Oyster, the world's first commercially viable waterproof watch, in 1927. To promote his innovative product, Wilsdorf sponsored a young London typist, Mercedes Gleitz, who was attempting to become the first woman to swim the English Channel. Gleitz wore the Rolex Oyster during her swim, which lasted almost 15 hours, and the watch emerged in perfect condition and right on time. His achievement was widely covered by the media, and Rolex published a full-page ad on the cover of the Daily Mail, making the birth of the testimony concept. The testimony concept is a marketing strategy that uses celebrity endorsements to promote a brand to the public, and it has now become a well-established practice. Rolex's achievement with Gleitz's swim and the subsequent advertisement of the brand on the Daily Mail cover helped to establish the company's reputation as a maker of high-quality and innovative watches. The significance of Gleitz's achievement and the Rolex Oyster's success is further highlighted by the fact that more than 4 decades later, it was described as an event almost as significant as to the time a woman swam the English Channel with a waterproof watch on following the Apollo moon landing in 1969. After the success Rolex had with glides, the company also employed Sir Malcolm Campbell, a man who had set new land speed records between 1924 and 1935 as brand ambassador. This further enhanced the company's reputation for precision and excellence. Another major milestone by Rolex was the introduction of the Rolex Perpetual in 1931. It was the first self-winding wristwatch to use a rotor that could rotate 360 degrees, allowing it to wind the main spring in both directions. This innovative design, which is still used in modern automatic watches, ensured that the watch would remain wound as long as it's being worn, without the need for manual winding. The Rolex Perpetual also featured a waterproof case and a highly accurate movement, cementing Rolex's reputation as a manufacturer of high-quality and durable timepieces. Wilsdorf showed great generosity and empathy towards the pilots serving their country during World War II by offering to replace their watches if they were taken away as prisoners of war. Wilsdorf's offer to replace the watches of captured officers without cost showed that he was willing to take a risk and stand up for what he believed was right. This gesture also communicated a strong message of support and solidarity with the Allied forces and helped to raise the morale of the prisoners of war. The Wilsdorf's policy only applied to officers during the war, but when Corporal Clive James Nutling ordered a Rolex Oyster 3525 chronograph directly from Wilsdorf, he was impressed by the soldier's choice of such an expensive watch. He wrote to Nutling saying that he should not even think about paying for the watch before the end of the war. The watch became historically significant when it was used to time the patrols of Nazi guards during the Great Escape from a prisoner of war camp. The daring escape attempt involved 76 Allied prisoners who dug a tunnel to escape from the camp. Although most were recaptured, the story of the escape became famous and was later made into a movie. In 2007, the Rolex Oyster 3525 chronograph and the correspondence between Nutling and Wilsdorf sold at auction for an impressive £66,000. During the war, Wilsdorf also suffered a personal tragedy as his wife passed away in 1944. After the death of his wife, Hans Wilsdorf established the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation in her memory. Upon his death in 1960, Wilsdorf bequeathed his 100% ownership stake in Rolex to the foundation, which made it the company's largest shareholder. As a result, Rolex is no longer owned by any individuals or families, and it cannot be sold to outside investors. The company also helped solve a murder case in 1996. A Canadian criminal, Albert Johnson Walker, assuming the identity of the Englishman named Ronald Joseph Platt, murdered Platt while out on a fishing trip in 1996, dumping his body at sea. When the body was discovered 2 weeks later, the only identifiable object on it was his Rolex Oyster Perpetual wristwatch. British police contacted Rolex with the watch's serial number and service markings, and the company confirmed that the watch belonged to Platt. They were also able to approximate his time of death by examining the date on the watch, since the Oyster Perpetual had a reserve of 2 to 3 days and was fully waterproof. Today, the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation receives a significant portion of the profits from Rolex, which is the only company owned by the foundation. As a non-profit organization, the foundation is exempt from paying taxes on its income, which allows it to dedicate more resources to its charitable endeavors. The foundation's charitable activities have included providing support to food banks, elderly charities, and scholarships, among others. In addition, the foundation has provided financial support to educational institutions such as the Geneva Watchmaking School, the Decorative Arts School of Geneva, and the University of Geneva's Social and Economic Sciences Department. The foundation also has a provision to provide for the needs of Hans Wilsdorf's nieces, nephews, and their descendants, which is keeping with Wilsdorf's desire to support his family members after his death. Today, the foundation continues to support a wide range of charitable and educational initiatives, making a significant impact in many different areas. How about you? What do you think about Rolex? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. See you in the next video.